This is your Biz to Biz with Joy, a weekly show where I interview men and women in business who are looking to connect with you, sharing their philosophy, platform, and how they serve you. Stay tuned. We love good company. See you soon. Cheers. Oh, it says I'm live. It always sneaks up on me. Hello and welcome. Welcome to Biz with Joy. Grow your business in style. Leaders leaving legacies. That's what we're all about here. I am Joy Ruff, and I am your style and leadership coach, speaker, executive producer, TV host, and podcaster. And yes, it is all in alignment. But tonight, my featured guest speaker is Sharon, and she is a spiritual and intuitive Akashic master and guide. We have so much to share with you tonight. This is her repeat performance back to us, but we're going to segue in a different direction because we're going to talk about the word that's used so often, and we want to make sure that everyone is on course and understanding of that word, soul, S-O-U-L, because that's what we're all about. We're entering into a new vista, a new age, new visions, new everything. And those of us who are in leadership, we are the proactive ones who are here to be the guides and the messengers. And that's why I adore Sharon, because she's going to share with us the work that she does and how she does it. And then we're going to talk about why you need it. And can I say to you what I always say to you? Welcome and thanks for being here. And while I'm doing the welcome and grow your business in style, I'm going to bring up Sharon. Sharon, so great to have you back here because I'm excited again. I love the work you do. Hello and welcome.
Thank you, Joy. It's a pleasure.
The pleasure is all mine because you know that I get excited and I love the work that you're doing because I feel in my heart and soul that it's so needed. So for those who are not maybe that familiar and not up to speed with Akashic intuitive readings, what it's all about, give us a brief overview and then we'll start the show. Thanks for being here again. The stage is yours.
Thank you. Well, Akashic records, the word Akasha is a Sanskrit word for the heavens above. And where all of this comes from, it comes from the Akashic field or the unified field in the other dimension. So in other words, when I work with people, what I'm doing is I'm going back to the beginning. And when we go back to where everything came from and everything starts, we have the purest of the pure information. Why do I read Akashic records? Number one, because when I had my first reading, it absolutely changed my life. And what I'm able to do now is remembering what happened with me and the transformation that I went through immediately. Now I get to bring that to you and help you to reach the next level.
You know, Sharon, thank you for that wonderful, brief, but very succinct explanation, because you mentioned and ended with a word that's paramount for all of us now who are here to be the guides and the messengers, knowing that that's our calling, that's our purpose, that's our mission, transformation.
Yeah.
And you mentioned in the beginning, after this occurrence had happened, briefly share with us what happened when you had this transformation and this awakening, and you knew that this was the work that you must do. Briefly share with us that.
Well, I had a near-death experience when I was 27, and that really got me back into my body and grounded in my body, which is what I love to help people do, because so many people are here in the physical, but maybe being in their body wasn't a safe place to be. So that was my first real awakening. However, when I found the Akashic work, and that was over 22 years ago, was when my mother passed. And she was so afraid to die, she didn't go toward the light, she got stuck in between. So I was able to contact this woman that I was going to have my first reading with. I told her something's very wrong. can we do this right away? She said, yes, absolutely. And we were able to find my mother, who was stuck in between, and then call in the third order escort to escort her to her right healing place in the positive astrals. So that was my huge transformation. I understood everything that this person was telling me. That's what I want to do for you. We are all a soul first.
Yes.
And that's where our power lies. And when we really embody that and live from that place, nothing can take us down.
Oh, Sharon, hold the fort for a second here. First off, thank you for that. And what you want to explain a wee bit more in depth to us is what you said in your explanation. Because many people, whether they're on the path or beginning or opening up to it, not quite awake yet to the understanding and acceptance and embracing of it, I want to hear from you what it means in your verbiage when you say she was stuck. Give us some more information on that, because that's I don't want to qualify. Share with us what that being stuck meant to you and to her, and how that was so impactful in your transformation.
Yes. When we are souls and it's time for us to go to the other dimension, this is the one really important thing everyone needs to know, is that there is a process that we do that, and we look toward the light and we actually let our soul pass, and it's not scary. It doesn't have to be scary. It's actually peaceful when that happens. So it's about this transition that we're making from our physical body back up to our etheric body and our right healing place. So instead of my mother, because she was so afraid to die, she tried to hang on. And that's what I mean by being stuck. Instead of her doing her right process, which would be embodying and welcoming, being, going on up into the light where she belonged, she was afraid and stuck in between. And any time where a soul is not where it's supposed to be, it's hell. So if a light being is supposed to be in the light astral planes where my mother belonged, she was hanging on so tightly in fear that she couldn't go to where she belonged. That's how we were able to help her.
Thank you. Thank you for that. A great explanation. But let me go into that a wee bit more in depth before we go on to something else. You spoke to what happens for many of us when we have not had our awakening, when we're not in sync and in tune with the heart and soul of who we are. And the question is who we are. And you said that's where our power lies, in our soul beings,
right,
into the light. But you mentioned the word fear. She was afraid. I think once we began to, and I'm not using me as an example, that fear begins to dissipate, because you know that there is so much more, right? And
right.
you were able to support your mother in that knowing and understanding, and taking her from where she was over to the other side. People have all kinds of beliefs, and people have all kinds of understanding, but the transition and the transformation to be able to do that takes a knowing and an understanding about your soul, which is what you're all about. I love the explanation, but fear begins to disappear and completely dissipate once you no longer fear death. You don't want to walk it right into your soul and heart at the moment, but you don't have a fear of it because you know that there is so much more. So that said, tell us about the Akashic intuitive readings, because you said it was before the beginning of time. So share with us a little bit more an explanation about that and why it's so impactful. I can share with you my experience with you over it, but share with us why it's so impactful. And most everyone who's walking or wants to walk into the light and be transformed to the best of themselves, they need this. So share with us that.
So in the Akashic work, way back in the way back where everything began,
yes,
we all come from there. What what we realize is that this place, this holding place for energy, where the God source is, where we get the energy coming in through our chakras, all of that. This is the beginning, and the first written word that I know about it was in the book of Exodus, with Moses and the Israelites. So this is universal spirituality, not religion, because this is where everything came from, which means all the religions that come in to the earth and that are around us, it's all great, but that is after the beginning. So when we begin at the beginning, that's really where the power is, and we've all sparked from there.
I think, Sharon, that there's no thinking involved. There's that knowing with understanding that a large percentage of people are still not able to take that in and ingest it. Embody it is your favorite word, and I love that word.
Right.
Because that thing about holding the holding place and energy, that's what it's all about. But how can we be more descriptive? Because also, when one says, as you just did, it was before religion and everything else, before time began, how can we be more descriptive about that here and now for those who might be searching and saying, I don't know? What can we give them?
Yes. Well, so much of this is really about the belief and the trust and the knowingness. Where do we get that in our physical body? When we're here in the physical, some people think that this is it, that this is all there is. And this is just a tiny, minute, it's like a minute, really, where everything else is and comes from. This is the connection that we have from our heart chakra, from our heart,
Right.
and that connects us to the seat of the soul. So when we go deep within ourselves, so when we're thinking or whatever we're doing, we don't keep it up in our brain and our mental body. We bring it down, we embody it, we get into our heart space. The love energy is what connects us to our soul. And that's where the power is. So that's that all-encompassing knowingness, because we can feel it in our body. Just allow yourself to feel that love energy down into your heart, down into your soul. This is something we can talk about until we maybe breathe, ground, and remember, so we can kind of settle down into the feeling of it.
Yes.
It's a feeling thing. Yes. It's not a mental body. No, I know that. No, we don't know it until we get it into our heart and we feel it from the tips of our toes to the top of our crown.
Oh, I like that. From the tip of our toes to the top of our crown. I'm going to take that from you. I like that. I always say top to bottom, hair to shoes, and so on and so forth. But I like that better. But let me just say this. We all know, those of us who are on this path to being all that we're here to be and to share our wisdom and our message with others, that it's about energy. And you mentioned that. I think knowing that and understanding that for a lot of people, for numerous reasons, because here's what is known and understood by me and by you, is that we're all on different levels in this collective. There's a lower vibration, the middle, and the higher. Those of us who are really, truly on the spiritual, it doesn't mean you're any better than the lower. It just means you're on a different path. And so what you're attempting to do in love and celebration of the soul and the heart connected to the head is to let people be awakened to the embodiment of their soul so they can get more in tune and in sync with their mission and their purpose. Would that be correct?
That's correct. That's exactly what we're talking about. And we can talk about it and we can think about it, but until we actually feel it inside of ourselves, that's where we get the connection. That's where we get the all knowing. That's where we get the belief and the trust that the universe is going to take care of us, because we're not just a body, we're not one thing. And when we know we didn't make our bodies, we didn't make this body that we live in, we don't even breathe ourselves. So who does that? That's how we can begin to understand and begin to like, okay, who does that? Well, ponder that, because we don't do it. So there is an energy or something much, much larger. That's what we're talking about when we talk about the other dimension, the holding place, the sticky thought substance. That's what we're talking about when I talk to you about, reading your Akashic records and where your soul sparked. You were in the Pleiades, and your soul began and sparked in the Pleiades star system.
Hold
And
that.
that isn't that powerful?
That is so powerful. Hold that for a moment. Sharon, I want to take a quick little break, and we have about 15 minutes left. I want to come back and I want to talk about the holding place. I want to talk about why we all need this. You can use me as an example if you like, or how other people have found this so impactful and profound in their awakening. And then in turn, we're going to end with your sharing something that they will be able to get to give them more awareness. So hold tight. I'm going to disappear for just a few minutes, but I'll be right back. Be quiet as a church mouse, and I'll be right back. Thank you for that. I tell you, do I love this? Yes, I do. I really love it, because I know with understanding that we all need it. If you're in leadership, if you're looking to be a guide and a messenger for others, if you're looking to stand in that word that Sharon used several times here tonight already, power comes and emanates from the soul of you. And it's only when you really, truly know who you are. That's why I started this, because I'm working with so many and being around so many women who are beautiful, and they don't know it, and they're not emanating from the soul. And that's why. But let me say this, Thursday, the 14th of this month, I'm inviting you to go to my Facebook business page, which is here, and go to events and sign up for March the 14th, which is St. Patty's Day, but it's also my featured guest speaker. And she's going to be here. Michelle is absolutely beyond phenomenal. She's going to be sharing with you something that each and every one of us can utilize. And I'm going to leave that to your imagination. But your assignment, and I love homework, is to join us there, because she's going to overload you in the best way with what's going to work best for you. To the event page from my Facebook business page, and then you can sign up and you'll get a link, and you can join us there at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. And then you will be amazed at what you're going to gain and what you're going to learn there. And every third Thursday of the month, I will have a featured guest speaker come to you. You are a leading lady, or you wouldn't be here. And then I want you to bring all of your other friends and acquaintances and people that you're getting to know in, because we're looking to build this community of leading ladies, because the universe, she is crying for more leading ladies, of which you are one. Sharon, I'm coming back to you, and I just want to say how you ended with the holding place and energy and the feeling. The feeling for me is everything now. I've had so many awakenings, and as a troubled young girl, I was so happy to always explore me. Not that I wanted or thought it, I just needed to know more about me. So tell us why. Why, and the why can be a deadly question, but not in a case like this. Why does most everyone who wants to stand in their power, why do they really need to seek out knowing and understanding their souls? Share with us that.
It's not like when I share about who you are on the soul level, it's not like you don't already know that. I am just the conduit. I'm just the connector. And in opening up your records, that's where all of this information that is you is such an affirmation. It is so affirming. When I talk to people, like I said, it's like I'm telling them, and they're going, yes, yes, because they know, but we don't have language to talk about it. So in the work that I do, I provide whatever your soul wants you to know right now, and I help you learn this language of how to speak about the other dimension. When you start understanding your archangel realms of training, your power, that's where your power lies. That's where you've studied and you've been doing that for a long, 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 long time. And then it's like, oh yeah, when you get the information from the reading and the clearing, it's like, yes, I get it now, because the brain gets to get connected with the words, because that's how we take in the information. And then we digest it into our innermost soul being.
I love that, and I appreciate that, and I have great value, and I commend you for that, because that's so true. This we know. But here's something else that's a knowing with an understanding. You can, but what I applaud you and the work that you're doing is because you said that you already know, but you get confirmation and you're just a conduit for what's being shared. You can give people all the information in the world. And I have been guilty of this, not so much for the personal development type of thing, but other things when it comes to technology, that if they don't want to do it, they're not going to do it. But something like this is powerful. And once you have your intuitive Akashic readings, knowing and understanding it from someone like you, you begin to implement what you have been given. That does not always happen, but because you're speaking to and delivering the soul's message, it becomes much more impactful. Is that not so?
That's exactly right, Joy. You're right on the money with that, because that's how we can embody it. So it's not a mental thing. It's actually a knowingness, a believing, a trusting. There's a lot of people that have had a lot of trauma in life.
Yes.
And we can get over that. The trauma a lot of times blocks the best part of ourselves. And with the reading and the clearing portion gets to take away all those blocks, so that you can just run that high frequency energy out into the world, because that's why we're all here anyway, to help one another and to be the best human being that we can be, connected to our soul.
Yes. Listen, what you just said is more powerful than you can imagine at this moment sitting there. This I know, because what you talked about is the higher frequency. But here's the qualifying difference that I know with my understanding. I have strong certainty and conviction about this, is that so often you can give a person, you can give them all the information and still they won't implement it. But the beauty of what you do, and you use that word feeling, Sharon, feeling, when you give them this information, it's already there. It's being awakened just by your dialoguing with them back and forth. You are the conduit for it. But then they begin to feel it, and slowly, and it's a process, they can begin to implement. That's the big difference in what you're doing. Would you not agree?
Absolutely. And that's what gives me so much life. And so every time I work with somebody, I get more than they get, because I am so happy and grateful that I can pass what I've learned. We've all had trauma. I had the broken neck. People have accidents and injuries and illnesses, but they don't have to have us, because our soul takes care of us when we know, love, and trust all of this information. And that's what makes the biggest difference of all. So when we do have traumas, we're going to turn it around and go, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for this, because suddenly then we can have an awakening from that, and we're off. We're off to the races, and we're ready to rock and roll. And life is so good.
Life is so good. Let me share this with you from a personal perspective. I never want to bring me into the equation, but yet here it fits. Until I met you, and I have had almost every other alternative modalities and cosmic healers in my life since the beginning of my teen years, because I was so confused and angry. But after, and I began to evolve and develop. But after my reading with you, all of my questionable question marks, all of my hesitations, and my doubts began to slowly fade, and still in the process. Because what you just said, Sharon, is so spot on. The soul knows I don't worry anymore about things that it's a waste of my energies to worry about, because I feel knowing that it's all in divine order. Trite saying, but fitting. So thank you for sharing that. And that's something coming from me that's spot on, because this is not an easy time for me, what I'm going through with hubby and myself, but yet I'm okay with it. Every now and then I go boom, but okay, because I know that my soul has a design and a purpose for me that I have to live up to, because that is part of my mission. So how do you speak to delivering to someone their awakening, their knowing with conviction and certainty over time, so that they can begin to walk in their purpose? Speak to us a little bit more about that.
Well, it's so interesting. When I actually open up records and I'm sharing what your soul wants you to know right now, well, number one, I think people are saying, "How did you know that?"
Yes,
But
yes.
it's like because I opened your records, you gave me the information I needed to connect with your soul information. You gave me that and a picture of you, and we opened up the records, and then I'm just giving you that information. So the thing is how would I know that? Well, the only way I would know that is if it came from your records. So this is part of the trusting and the knowing that there's more to life that meets our physical eye, that it's so much more than all of that, and that we can relax, and we can relax into exactly who we are on the soul level. You being a Pleiadian, I'm a Syrian, and the rest of the beautiful souls that I get to read, and that we can embody that when we have a place where we began and we have an idea of what it means, and that yes, life is so much more than what we are here in the physical, although the physicalness is why we're here. And when we partner that with the soul, that's how we balance our physical human beingness with our soul purpose.
I love that, Sharon. I love that for many, many reasons. And I'm not going to go there because time flies here. You have to come back and share more with us about the Pleiadians and the Syrians and all of that. I love that stuff. And you know that I do. But let me just say it's time to wrap up now. But I want you to give us your parting words. And then I'm putting up your website where they can go and get a free gift from you. And then when they do that, they can also connect with you and see if there are any options or possibilities for you there. But what I want to do is put up your website, which is here where they can go, but leave us with some parting words. And let me just say this. It's not enough to just know. It's knowing and understanding and then putting into action what it is that you're about. So thank you for being here. Give us your parting words, and we'll say so long for now until the next time. The stage is yours.
So my parting words are: you are a luminous light being, powerful beyond measure. And when, like I said, in our physical body, when you decide to connect your body, mind, and soul, that's where you can start feeling your power, and you can breathe into that. We also do the breathe, ground, and remember. It slows down our nervous system. We're here with everything that we needed. We came in with it. And I would love for you to go to my website, SharonKaren.com. There's a free chakra guide that's out of this world. I use it with all of my coaching clients. And this helps explain some of that non-physical part of ourselves, our chakras, which brings our energy frequency into our human body.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Listen, time goes here much too quickly, but you must come back and we're going to explore this more in depth. But you've given us enough to work with. Sharon, I adore you, and I absolutely commend the work that you're doing, because I feel knowing with conviction that it's needed. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. I love you.
You're welcome. Oh, what can I say? I always do that. I put the wrong one, but here we are. And I have to wrap this up. But let me say this to you. Join us on March the 14th, if you can, at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. You won't regret it. That's a promise to you. And also be aware that all of this that I'm delivering to you, cosmic healers and alternative modalities, it's all for you to know and to understand with conviction who you are, with certainty so that you can stand in your confidence and power that's innately yours. And until we meet again, and we will tomorrow night, same time, same station, I bid you adieu. And I say, if you have to wear the mask, continue to wear it. And as always, much love and all the best coming your way. So long for now. Cheers.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Every week you will meet professional men and women who stand out in the crowd, growing their business and style online. Join us each week. Want to be a guest? Let's make it happen. Connect with me on my website. All the best. Cheers.